Good morning. You are watching the TMI Show with Ted Rall and Manila Chan filling in. Oh, wait, Robbie, you're not filling in. Wait, what? What's going on? Oh, there's a Manila Chan.
Yeah, but she's still muted.
But yeah, well, that's how we like our women. Silent, pregnant,
True.
silent. There she is.
I also don't see myself still. I'm this whole new Rumble studio thing.
Let me see that. Oh, that could be. That
you still got the element up.
Does that solve the problem?
There, yeah, that's Ted. That's Ted control.
That was me. That was my fault.
I could hear everybody, but I couldn't see anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there we all are. There's the overlay. I'm getting used to all of this because we've converted all the way over to Rumble Studio.
Yeah, because Fang is now making all the shorts and things, so we don't need StreamYard for any of that stuff anymore. The AI is taking care of all of it, so y'all get to save your shekels, which is awesome.
However, if we had saved the shekels a few months ago, that would have helped because it's paid for the year.
I'm sure you cancel it and then get a prorated refund.
I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. I think it's like a
StreamYard's still useful to have sometimes, but
Yeah, I think I'm
gonna let it
final sale.
But no, I mean the video and the audio quality here on Rumble Studio is so much better.
Yeah, I mean,
seriously. I'm looking at it right now. It's really clear.
It's very nice.
Here, let me put you in there just like solo. Check that out.
Wow.
Right?
Wow. It's like all this stuff has changed in the past 6 weeks.
That's right.
Weird. Okay, I have to learn to use all of this.
That's why men ruled the world and made it the
God bless the patriarchy.
Perfectly working place that it is today.
Yes, that must be it. It's the patriarchy that makes this video possible for everybody. Yes. So thank you,
Annie.
Everybody.
Annie says I'm still loved. I appreciate that. I can now go away to producer land where I belong in the hinterlands.
The producer hinterland.
Welcome back, Manila. So for those who
don't know,
go ahead and fill us up. Bring us up to speed. That you now have a new tax deduction.
I be the M in the TMI show, the Manila, and that be the T, the Ted, of the TMI show.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously we bring you way too much information, including how to operate Rumble Studio, apparently. I guess you can do a tutorial on this.
Yep.
I still need the tutorial because it's very different than the program we were using before, which is StreamYard, which we've been using for the last year and a half or two. But anyway, I think the show format hasn't changed outside of the video formatting, right, Ted? We're still doing
the format's exactly the format's the same, except we're far more diligent about sticking to the hard out at 11 a.m.
And I've got to do that too.
And also, we're a lot more. We've also been focused more on quirkier stories,
which I love. Which I love anyways. And so we still do it Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern time. So please, guys, be sure to follow, subscribe to the show, share us, because I think Robbie's putting together, or his AI is putting together the shorts. So it'll make it easier to share little snippets. And I wonder if Robbie's AI can cut when things get extra spicy.
Oh, yeah.
We probably could be programmed.
Does it recognize? Yeah, does it recognize when we get ultra spicy on the show?
It does, because the way that it works is I use transcripts from the last 100 TMI shows. And so what it does is it learns the speech patterns, and I've trained it to look especially for spicy stuff. So we start talking about immigration, or we start talking about gun control or something. Those are the first things it's always going to look for. And here's what's really neat. The way that I've got it cut. See, shorts will work on YouTube or Rumble from a floor of 30 seconds to a maximum of 3 minutes.
Okay.
So the way I'm training the AI is that it will start to cut based on the conversation, not on a hard time constraint. So it will start naturally and then end naturally too, allowing you to complete the full thought. And then the actual clips will be anywhere from a minimum of 10 minutes to a maximum of 30. So that way, if you're having like a really just fiery debate, it'll capture the whole thing.
Wow.
And
AI
so
is
the more
awesome
shows
and terrifying at the same time.
The more shows that we do, the smarter she gets.
One of the other things is I don't really like the overlay, so I don't use it that much.
Oh, okay.
We don't need it.
Okay, so I'm going to get used to all of this, and I guess Ted is then controlling the Rumble room.
Yep. That's right. It is I. It is I. Goodbye. It is all mine. More.
So then, if anything screws up, you can blame the Ted over there on that side.
Yeah, blame the old cis white male.
We're on the wrong side right now.
Just because a man goes to an Ivy League school doesn't mean that.
Well, it's an Ivy League school, Ted. It's not even accredited.
True. Yeah. A disaccredited.
Ted, it's a plumbing school now. Trump
it's a discredit. So. No, that's not true. If I went to plumbing school, I'd be making bank right now.
That's true. No, it's gonna be a plumbing school. They're gonna. Remember, they said Harvard and other Ivies. They're gonna give them like trade schooling. Trade schooling schools.
I mean, it's so stupid. Anyway, yeah.
Which I think is like the best way. You have a Harvard degree in plumbing. That's fantastic.
Right. All right.
Probably the only way you can pay back the debt. All right. I'm back. Baby's
Manila,
well. Everybody's asking.
Story. Read away.
Everybody's asking. Baby's well. She was born 7 pounds, 6 ounces, normal size. And 19 inches. I guess that's a pretty normal, typical size. But she's well over 9 pounds now. Her brother was that size coming out. Mm-hmm. So, but boys tend to be bigger.
So I gotta ask, do you
sorry,
do
not
anything,
sorry.
Like,
boys are bigger.
The bump stays after you're pregnant, after you give birth for a while, right?
And not really, not for me.
Really? Okay. All right.
I'm like, not for me. I mean,
my ex had, it looked like she was still pregnant for a while.
That's different people. Peter, thank you for the donation.
Saying that Ted is in control. Exaggeration. So true. So true. And thanks for the donation. Yeah.
Look, and the Rumble chat saying that women are way more brutal to each other. Also very true. Very true. Women are way harsher on each other than, like, men can duke it out, like physically get in a fist fight and then squash it and be done with it. Like immediately, like you guys could be like bloodied noses or whatever, and then be like squash the beef. Women will continue to be catty. Even if you claim to be cool after whatever just happened, women will continue to like grind the axe.
Manila, women are mean. Okay.
Women are mean.
Women are mean. So in fact, I was going to write about this for a column maybe in a week or two. Let me test this theory on you, and then you can then go ahead into this Laos story. But I was thinking about like these days when the man problem. You know how men are being left behind in the workplace, yes. And 3 out of 4 college students are now women, and all that. And when you bring that up, basically women just like, oh, let me play the world's smallest violin. And then I was thinking, you guys are really fucking mean because like when like when women's suffrage was motivating, there were a lot of male allies who funded and marched alongside these women. And every single state that voted for women's suffrage, 100% of that vote came from men because only men were allowed to vote. And men all voted to like let women vote, right? And so like they didn't have to. They did. I don't think if it was the other way around, women would have ever voted to let men vote. And like now we need a little help.
There's a movie about that.
We could use some allies. And where are you guys?
There's a movie about that, actually. I mean, sort of. It's the new Sacha Baron Cohen movie. It's like the world in. I haven't seen it yet, but I saw the trailer this weekend and it looked interesting. It's basically the world as we know it in reverse, where women are in control of everything, and it's the matriarchy and not the patriarchy. And so it's like he walks down the street and he gets catcalled by women. So it's everything, every male to female trope that we know, but in reverse. And Anna, thank you for becoming a monthly supporter.
I had this conversation on Saturday with one of Kizzy's friends. They'll talk about the evils of patriarchy, and well, as long as her friend is her sister. As y'all know, her sister is kind of crazy. As you should be thankful that men are not what you describe us to be, because if we were, we have a monopoly on violence and force. We would put your asses back in the kitchen in like 2 days. So be thankful that we are not what you think we are.
I don't believe in that. I believe to some degree there was the patriarchy, but I think men have evolved past that, and but now it's devolving men, and that's why this Andrew Tate crap, like the hyper masculine male, is a thing, because it's an overcorrection.
It's what we do. That's what we do.
It's for the overcorrection of feminism, though. I mean, we're like, I would say I'm post feminist, because now that I'm a mom of, I was a boy mom, and now I'm a mom of one of each. But I don't want to see a world where my son falls behind simply because he was born male.
The wrong sex. Yeah.
Right.
Manila, I got a patriarchy. Yeah. We got 4 stories to get through. And we got 45 minutes to do it. That's 10 minutes each. Let's go.
We get through them fast. Anyway, do we have the Jaws or anything on this, or how does this work?
I have Jaws. Let's see.
Does Jaws?
Let me see. If I
sent you the Jaws.
You did send me the Jaws. Is this it?
There we go. See, the matriarchy gave Ted the keys to the Jaws.
That's true.
Ted Jawsed it. All right. Yeah. So this one, obviously, we had to give to me to do because it's a Laos story, and I'm probably the only Lao person that you guys know. So
probably, yeah.
Because there's like less than 6 million Lao people, I think, on Earth, like literally on Earth. So there you go.
And most of them are in Laostan.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So 4 of the gold miners, and this is not like gold miners for like, I don't know, like De Beers or something. I know it's a diamond company, but I don't know gold companies. So these are like independent little Lao local villager guys that are gold miners. They got trapped in a flooded cave in Laos. 4 of them self-rescued, because that's how the Lao people do. And they're probably wearing like flip-flops. I'm not even kidding. It's true. Like they climb mountains.
I'm laughing because it's true.
Flip-flops. But 4 of them self-rescued on Saturday, according to CBS News. Their escape from the cave came 1 day after the 5th miner was pulled from the cave in a very risky maneuver. One of the rescuers told CBS, he said, "We were just getting ready to come in, but then they're already coming out." The guys came out by themselves. So the rescuer said that the 4 miners had noticed the water level had dropped, and they decided to act immediately. They saw that the opportunity to crawl back out, and they took it. And still, though 2 miners remain missing, efforts to locate them are continuing amid the inclement weather there in Laos, because it's monsoon season, right? All 7 miners in the cave together. They were all trapped there when the floodwaters rose almost 2 weeks ago. These guys were trapped for like roughly 10 days, no food, no water, and like just like huddled above the rising water. I mean, it's got to be terrifying. The rescuers found the 5 miners in the furthest of the cave's 5 known chambers on Wednesday. Rescue divers were able to bring food and supplies to them once they were located, and map the cave to prepare a rescue plan. After the first miner in the chamber was rescued on Friday, other rescuers kept pumps working all night to drain the water out of the cave system. When the rescue divers suited up to re-enter the cave Saturday morning and to assess conditions for attempting the rescue of the other miners, they came face to face with the 4 men.
It's like, hey, what's up?
Like, hey, you were taking too long, so we're just coming out. The miners were greeted with cheers, hugs, and a party-like atmosphere, because that's what Laos be like.
Tonight,
he described the moment as very heartwarming. Now the rescuers will work to find the 2 missing miners who are feared dead. They may be in the 6th chamber, accessible only through a narrow gap in the part of the cave where the other 5 miners were. I read, Ted, that space is only about 18 inches wide.
Oof. That thought just made me cringe up. I went on...
but Lao folks tend to be very small. So
have you ever gone caving, Manila?
No. God,
So
no.
I'm not an avid spelunker, but I have gone caving on a few occasions. I went on a caving expedition at Mammoth Cave, Kentucky, and they called it the Wild Cave Expedition. And what was required there was pretty frightening. At one point, you had to go through a gap that was basically, they even like sized you up. Like if you're too chubby, you can't make it through there. And basically, like
The
I don't
cave
think they would let me
discriminates.
go through now. First of all, I'm too old, and also probably a little.
Wow.
I was skinnier back then. And anyway, you have a helmet with a light on it,
Yeah.
and it's so narrow that the helmet had to go through. You couldn't wear it. You had to like push it through ahead of you, and then like
Oh,
squeeze,
like,
wriggle through. And then and
yeah.
as you're wriggling through, you're thinking of the hundreds of millions of pounds of earth and rock like sitting on top of you, and it's just absolutely freaky.
Oh, no, I've been into caves, but not like that. And for this reason. Same reason I won't like bungee jump. I might do something akin to skydiving, like skydiving in one of those like indoor skydiving places. I've done that a couple of times. That's pretty cool. I'll do something akin. I've been in 2 caves, but not into tiny, narrow crevasses where, I can get a limb caught and then I'm stuck there and I have to gnaw my own arm off.
Yeah, it's not good.
I'm not going to do that. I'm not interested in doing that. But I'll tell you, because, being Lao Chinese, they is a hardy people, Ted. The Lao folks.
They have to be.
Yeah, they literally. I'm joking, but not joking, that they're like climbing mountains and stuff in like flip flops. Like thong sandals.
I believe that. When I went on this crazy trip to Tajikistan, up in the Himalayas, in the Tajik section of the Himalayas, the Pamir Mountains, there were 2 of my guides. They were basically wearing like cheap Converse knockoffs where the sole was falling off. And of course, I'm completely outfitted with my fancy Loa boots
all your
and
REI shit.
Yeah, of course. I'm American. I know how to be American. It's like, yeah, no, and it's just like, yeah, we don't need all that shit. We're Tajik. Fuck it.
Yeah, and the Lao folk are no different, and they're like, they're a little more chill. I would say except I'm not. I think I got the more intense Chinese gene here, but I'm more like,
yeah, you're not
gotta get things
Lao.
done.
You're not ethnically Lao, right?
Well, there's a mix in there, but primarily my DNA shows that I'm primarily Chinese.
So you have some.
Yeah. Well, there are some, blend. I'm like Mongolian and Chinese primarily, and then a little bit of Lao mixed in there. So
have you done 23andMe?
I did a million years ago before I realized that the government.
Everyone turns out to be part
No,
Jewish.
I don't have any of that.
Okay.
And there's no Neanderthal blood in there. Well, as far as they can tell, because I'm a female. You need.
Yeah, you'd be Cro-Mag since you're from that part of the.
You need male DNA to find out, to unlock some of the other things, and my brother refuses to spit in a tube. And I don't blame him. What we know about 23andMe now, but I didn't know.
That's why I don't do it.
I did it like 100 years ago when it was brand new, because I was like, oh, this is cool, and then I was like, oh,
Plus,
fast
what if
forward a few years.
I want to keep my options open. Like, what if I decide to become a serial killer? Like, it'll totally fuck me up if I've donated my DNA.
That's right. Well, because as we know, all serial killers come from Ohio.
That's true. In fact, if you just drive through Ohio, you might become a serial killer.
You might definitely get killed by a serial killer, because they raise serial killers in Ohio. If you guys haven't seen that episode of the TMI Show, we've talked about it. Go look it up.
Serial killer has never hurt anyone, so. People serial killers are really misunderstood and underappreciated.
Ohioans be killy.
True. Not untrue.
Thing. And the Lao people are not. The Lao people tend to be really chill and just kind of like roll with the punches. So these guys were like squatting up there in the cave and just kind of like, we'll just wait it out.
Has Laos ever had, besides when the U.S. decided to come along,
bomb the shit out of them?
Did they ever were they involved in any like regional wars against like the Thais or anyone like that?
Nope.
Okay. Because the
They's
Cambodians
a
have been.
chill people. Oh, I know. Well, they're doing it now still. But the Lao people are like, leave us out of it, man. We're trying to like barbecue and have some beer Lao. Like that's the culture. That's truly the culture. And it kind of drives me nuts a little bit because it's like a mañana culture. Like we'll do it tomorrow.
Oh. It's like it's
Siesta.
LPT, Laotian people time.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It drives me absolutely insane. So the Thais are a little more I'm not going to say anxious, but a little more westernized in that they're like, okay, we got shit to do. And the Chinese are obviously high strung and like, let's go now.
No.
A+ now. Like, you doctor yet?
They could be Japanese. It'd be worse.
Well, I mean that's like the ultimate, right? So I got kind of more of the Chinese side where I'm like, got to do this now, got to get it done now, got to rescue people now, got to do everything now. And the Lao are kind of like, chill, it's siesta time. We'll just wait for the water to digress, and then we'll just wade our way back out. I don't know if they brought food with them. I don't know, but thankfully these guys are out. And this is like the only time you ever hear about Laos, not like the shit that I think people should care about, which is like how it's still the most heavily mined country on earth by the good old US of A.
Which is saying something because you're comparing with countries like Afghanistan.
Yeah, Laos is just hands down the most heavily bombed country on earth, and nobody talks about that. And 1/3 of the country is uninhabitable. So it's amazing that these guys didn't blow themselves up en route to the cave that they got stuck in.
Okay, we have more stories to do.
All right,
as
Jaws it.
All right,
you
Jaws.
Get the Jaws.
Ooh, double Jaws. Oh my God! Oh, that's so funny. It's doing toggle loop off. Stop.
Oh, because of the loop.
It's good. It's a funny loop. Anyway, so all right, off we go here. Okay. For the better part of a year, Washington Republicans have operated under an assumption bordering on certainty. JD Vance is the frontrunner for the 2028 GOP presidential nomination. Obviously, he occupies the traditional launching pad to the White House, enjoys strong support from MAGA, and has spent much of the administration serving as one of Trump's most visible political attack dogs, which is, of course, the standard role of the vice presidency in the modern era. But Trump's not so sure he's into it. He's privately questioning, according to the New York Times, whether Vance is really the future of the movement and has floated alternative possibilities, including little Marco Rubio. To be clear, Trump has not publicly broken with Vance, quite the opposite. He continues to praise the Veep and has repeatedly highlighted his role in the administration and as the nation's lead werewolf. But Trump's reported private musings offer a reminder that succession planning and Trump have never comfortably occupied the same sentence. Most presidents eventually anoint their heir. Trump seems more inclined to hold auditions, not unlike Biden's attitude toward Kamala. The uncertainty reflects a larger reality facing Republicans as they quietly begin looking beyond Trump's second term. The modern GOP has become so closely identified with one dude that even its own members struggle to envision what comes next, which puts Vance in an awkward spot. Historically, vice presidents enjoy enormous advantages in presidential primaries. They have national name recognition, built-in donor networks, and an amazing ability to claim continuity with a successful administration. However, not always. There's Al Gore, Hubert Humphrey, Dan Quayle. Being next in line doesn't necessarily guarantee that you get the spot. The challenge for Vance is that GOP voters don't simply support a set of policies. They support Trump himself, his style, his instincts, his personality, his ability to dominate every news cycle he enters. Hard for anyone to copy that. Rubio's emergence as a possible alternative reflects that. Once viewed as a relic of the pre-Trump Republican establishment, Rubio has steadily rebuilt his standing inside the administration while maintaining a much higher public profile than many expected. That doesn't mean Rubio is suddenly the favorite, but Republican elites are keeping their options open. So is Trump. Of course, naming a clear successor would require acknowledging that someone else will eventually get the spotlight, or that, let's say, he's not going to get a third term, right? So while Washington insiders continue to treat Vance as inevitable for 2028, the man whose endorsement matters most is not quite there. And there we go. So I would almost feel sorry for JD Vance, but I don't. But I think this is a reflection less. I mean, I think there's a lot going on here. My initial thoughts are, first of all, it's true, Manila, that JD Vance is not like the natural heir to MAGA. He is not he in many ways, temperamentally, age-wise, background-wise, stylistically, temperamentally, he's just not the same person as Donald Trump. He's not a logical successor. I think he was more of a balance to Trump than like an heir to Trump. Although Trump kind of, obviously wants an heir, and obviously JD Vance is the path of least resistance. But on the other hand, it's also true that it's Trump's personality. He's kind of like thinks he's on The Apprentice all the time, and he wants to keep everyone guessing. And I think he thinks that if he tells Vance too early, like, you're the man, like in the movie, in like the TV show Succession, like it's you,
right?
Like that
He'll
maybe
like
JD
Nolan
will
Boyd.
stop. He'll stop trying as hard, or he won't be as loyal because he'll start to get snotty. I mean, people like with Trump's style, they like to play everyone against each other in their administration.
I bet he does that with his children.
Hitler was like that. I mean, Hitler developed lots of different spheres of power within the Nazi hierarchy so that they would all compete against each other for his favor. They called it working toward the Führer, where you wouldn't really necessarily be told what to do, but you were kind of like trying to imagine what Hitler would want you to do, and then like that would force you to work even harder than you would if you were given a direct order. So there was a lot of pros and cons to that leadership style, but I still got to think he's the logical successor because, and by the way,
I think so.
It's not Marco Rubio.
Well. First, Ted, do me a favor. Can you swap positions of boxes on the screen?
Sure.
Because the way my camera is set up.
Is the logo bugging you?
No, it's because the way my camera is set up that when I look in the other direction, it looks like I'm not looking at you.
There we go.
And then now it looks like I'm looking at you. See what I'm saying? Because it's the way my camera. It's the way my camera's set up.
Like if you were Paul Lynde in Hollywood Squares, you're like looking around.
Yeah, dude. And just
in the Brady Bunch, like
yes,
hey, Marsha.
Right. I like for things to be like for it to be in order and make sense because visually it would because of how my camera is set up with my screens.
They make fun of that because they show like Fox News. And it at one point she turns and faces the anchor lady faces the wrong way.
I like for it to make sense visually, not only to me but for everybody else, and because I set up my camera in my home studio, so just like this. So now it looks like I'm looking at you. You see that? See, I'm looking at you, and I would be looking at Robbie too. But anyway, thank you. That's the position. It's just the way my cameras are set up and monitors. But anyway, Mark, I wouldn't rule out Rubio.
Really?
Entirely. Yeah. Me personally, I wouldn't. He is not a MAGA successor. But you got to remember, MAGA has been co-opted by the neocons. And Prince Neocon is Marco Rubio. He is the Prince of Darkness, like the Prince of the Neocon Wars. He's Latino. He's young. He's got a lot of big money behind him. I think Trump likes that. Trump likes anyone that can dazzle a crowd. Little Marco is all over the media right now. He's like the media darling right now. Vance has not been everywhere. Maybe in the lead up to the elections, Vance was, and he was a media darling because he would be the first millennial, I think, to become president if that happens. But Marco is a Gen Xer like us, and he's got a lot of big money supporters behind him, and I think Trump likes that. And I think Miriam Adelson and other big Zionist funders and backers, I think Trump will go with whoever they tell him at this point. I don't think he's thinking on his own. I think MAGA is gonna like parse into two camps. Like true MAGA will either support, if JD Vance stays on this path, the true path of MAGA, then he'll get those supporters, or we could see a rise and maybe the theft of true MAGA by Thomas Massie. Because now Thomas Massie's unbound, unrestrained, and I think he could come out swinging, and he could take a lot of the real, true MAGA people. The Trump cultists might fall in line behind Rubio.
Really?
Yeah.
I find that very hard. I mean, I think that if Rubio is the guy, turnout will be unenthusiastic.
Oh, for sure.
There's going to be a serious, enthusiasm deficit for the Republicans in 2028. I mean, Rubio, he doesn't have that intangible it factor.
The je ne sais quoi.
That's right. He just doesn't. I mean, I can barely see him as Secretary of State. I could barely see him as a senator. I mean, honestly, to me, it's like that guy should be, his highest level is, congressman from an obscure district, like not a committee chair, not important. I mean, he's just like, he's a small little man who might sell you a bad car.
He's very intelligent. I'll give him that, and he makes cogent statements. Sure. But that's also relative to Donald Trump and the wackos that Trump has around him. But Marco comes off like he's like he's the 4.6 grad student, right? Like where everyone's like, oh, you're so smart. But JD Vance is also really smart. But
he is.
Ideologically,
JD Vance doesn't fit either, though.
But he doesn't. Right, he doesn't fit.
I mean, we all know it's fake.
MAGA,
right? And
MAGA breaks.
Must know it's fake. Like
MAGA breaks. This is the breaking point for MAGA. Yeah. I think 2028 is the death of MAGA, so it really doesn't matter who Donald Trump appoints. He becomes irrelevant the moment we hit the year 2028. He's completely irrelevant. I think all eyes need to be on Thomas Massie and where Tulsi Gabbard goes from here. I mean, not that she would run on her own, but
Thomas Massie cannot be the Republican nominee. Like he's like a Bernie Sanders
to go independent
figure within the GOP. He can wage an insurgent campaign that can really disrupt the primary process.
He should Ross Perot this shit.
But he can't win. He can't win because the party apparatus won't.
Ross Perot all of these motherfuckers. He could steal from the Democrats, steal from the Republicans.
He can't steal from the Democrats.
He can't. I think there's a lot of Democrats, Ted. There are a lot of Democrats that voted for Trump this last go round, and I think Massie can take them with him. So I would say MAGA is dead. So it's really irrelevant what Trump anoints
Trump
and
sticks
what
around
Trump
for
is.
a third term.
Unless Trump changes his name and becomes somebody else and says, I've never served a term. I'm going to be the first female president.
Well, I mean, look, the country is teetering on the edge of fascism. So he can take us there.
Like, I think I could foresee myself, and there are a lot of people like me who would vote, and like John D. Rockefeller voting for like a Massie Gabbard ticket, or like a Massie, I don't know, somebody else, a different dark horse. But I could foresee Massie really taking a big chunk out of both parties and really disrupting 2028. Whether he wins or not is beside the point. It's to show both parties that they both suck, and that he can really run away with. He was the only true MAGA person in Congress. I could even foresee Marjorie Taylor Greene jumping in. Maybe it's Massie Greene, Massie Gabbard, Massie somebody. But I could really foresee Massie stealing the people that are into MAGA, not Donald Trump. There's a distinction. right? And there's a big difference. And I think it's important to highlight those differences. So true MAGA will support Massey. Trump cultists will support whoever Trump says, this is my boy. So.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I agree with you that it's hard to see a way forward for MAGA. I mean, look, that orientation is going to remain in American politics indefinitely. I mean, it was before that, it was the Tea Party. Years ago, it was, Pat Buchanan. It was it was George Wallace. It was the John Birch Society. It was America First under Charles Lindbergh in the 30s. So it's an orientation that's been with us for a long time. And it will continue. But it will be rebranded. It will be something completely new, and it'll fall apart before it gets back together. So it's not like it's gone forever, but by 2036, it'll be back.
Perot took almost 20% of all votes, and he
19.2%. However, Perot was completely outside of the system. That's why Massey was a loyal Republican for years, so but that wasn't true about Ross Perot. Ross Perot was a true independent, and also obviously able to self-fund, and that made all the difference.
But his damn daughter's wedding, man.
No, the Nazi frogmen were going to show up.
Stupid wedding plans.
Yeah, it's always the
wedding plans are
always
weddings
are
stupid.
All right, here we go.
Weddings are stupid. All right. All right.
That was abbreviated. Okay, you're next.
Yeah, was that a truncated Jaws?
It was an austerity Jaws.
Oh,
like Malay would have.
It's to combat inflation.
Yeah, exactly.
Time inflation.
It's like shrinkflation. You can't have a full Jaws.
That's right. No full Jaws. All right. So this one, Ted, because I used to fancy myself as something of an environmentalist, because how can I not, right? I was born and raised in California. My teachers at the time, because of my age, my teachers were actual hippies, like with the tie-dye and all that, like real actual hippies. So until I got to DC and learned that all this shit is bullshit and that even recycling is fake, like it just heartbreaking. And this one, I don't know if we're going to be as heartbroken, Ted, because, all the rich folks that are environmentalists, this story's about them. Mm-hmm. So for years, environmental messaging has operated on a simple assumption. If people care about nature, they'll make greener choices. A new study, though, suggests reality may be a little more complicated than that. Researchers surveying roughly 5,000 people across the United States, Canada, the UK, France, Germany, and Italy found that among wealthier people, stronger environmental values often coincided with larger carbon footprints, not smaller ones. The finding sounds backwards until you look at the fine print. Many affluent people who express deep concern about climate change and conservation also have lifestyles that generate far more emissions than average. Think frequent air travel, larger homes, multiple homes, international vacations, and higher levels of consumption generally. Environmental awareness doesn't necessarily cancel out the carbon cost of a first-class ticket to a climate conference. Or private jet, we should say. In other words, loving nature and burning jet fuel are not always mutually exclusive. The researchers argue that this helps explain why public awareness campaigns often produce disappointing results. People may sincerely support environmental goals while maintaining lifestyles that remain difficult or undesirable to change. According to the study, values alone don't reliably translate into lower emissions. The findings also fit a broader trend seen in climate research. Multiple studies have shown that higher income households are responsible for a disproportionate share of greenhouse gas emissions. One major analysis found the world's wealthiest 10% were responsible for roughly 2/3 of global warming since 1990, while the richest 1% contributed emissions at many, many times the global average rate. That doesn't mean wealthy environmentalists are hypocrites. Really, it doesn't. It does suggest, however, that environmental concern and environmental impact are often two different things. The study's authors say that the results point toward a larger policy change. If governments want meaningful emissions reductions, relying solely on awareness campaigns, that may not be enough. Structural incentives, infrastructure changes, and alternatives to high carbon lifestyles may matter more than simply convincing people climate change is real. It's a conclusion that may frustrate activists on both sides of the debate. Climate skeptics often portray environmentalists as out of touch elites flying private jets to lecture everyone else. Environmental advocates, meanwhile, tend to assume that greater awareness naturally leads to greener behavior. The new research suggests both sides may be observing different pieces of the same puzzle. People can genuinely care about the planet. They can also be the biggest contributors to the problem. And when it comes to carbon emissions, concern and consumption don't don't always move in opposite directions. So I would say, yeah, that's a distinction. And with another distinction with a big difference is you have all of these people like Bill Gates, Ted, that lecture us and tell us, wagging his finger at us and whatever. But then he's flying around his private jet. He has his big mansion in Washington State, right? With like what I remember, I come from the real estate world too, where I've had realtors confirm to me that he has like his heated floors, there's heated concrete in his driveway, Ted. So if it snows, it never ices over.
That's not completely rare.
It's using a lot of energy is
right,
my
but
point.
Other people do that too.
Sure, but those other people are probably not walking around wagging their finger at everybody and saying, "Don't eat meat." Cows fart, it's causing greenhouse emissions. Like, so you should eat soy. The people aren't doing that. Bill Gates is maybe a little bit less these days, but it's true that all these climate, they're not all Dr. Reese's, right? Let's just say, Dr. Reese is somebody that's a hippie, very much like the teachers I had growing up. They're the real deal, right? Like they wear their hemp clothing and they're
sure.
And they're vegans and they live like the real deal. Like they drive, a old school Volkswagen Beetle. It drives on diesel or I don't know, probably like vegetable oil. They pick up grease from
cat poo
at McDonald's, like whatever, right? Most environmentalists are not the real deal, like Dr. Reese, who lives among the trees in a tiny home and living the real deal.
Most environmentalists, most people, yeah. Look, it's very hard to live a green life. In a country like ours that's not set up for it. It's a capitalist country. We're a consumerist society. Of course, it's very, very hard. Think about all the, you order something from, one time I ordered a pen from Amazon that came in a box big enough to, to ship a typewriter. It was like, why? I guess they ran out of small boxes, but it's like, it's just like, there's so much crap that they send with you. It's just, it's rough.
But this study highlights something that's so true, that all these people that are lecturing the rest of us, telling us to separate our foods, our recyclables or whatever, they're actually creating way more emissions and greenhouse gases than the average person because they're too good to travel, by commercial jet. They have to travel in their private jet. They have to live in their, I don't know why anyone would need 15 bedrooms unless you're like the Dugars or whoever that have like massive families. But why do you need a 15 room mansion? Why do you need a 17 car driveway?
Well, for entertaining. Rich people need. I'm not kidding.
I know.
They throw these lavish parties and they have people travel from all over the world to come visit them and they stay with them. It's all basically their home is a hotel. It's
I
not
know.
really a house.
And they own multiple properties, as this article explains. But the thing is, like, they're buying high-end clothing that are not, we're not talking about recycled
They
hemp.
don't have to live that way. They can live like Warren Buffett if they want,
Oh, see, Warren Buffett, he doesn't lecture us too much about climate change or anything. Warren lives in his little 3-bedroom, Nebraska house, right? Like, that he's lived in
Right.
since like 1970. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he just
In his triad relationship. So
he
he's using
weird.
twice his sexual footprint is larger than most.
Yeah, I'll give Warren the credit there, but people like Gates or other celebrities, true celebrities. I don't mean Bill Gates is, he's a celebrity only because he was one of the wealthiest men on earth, but celebrities, I'm talking about actors, singers, whatever, they're always lecturing everybody about going green, and they're the ones that are producing the worst carbon footprints.
That's true. We should move on. We have an ad and one more story.
Excellent. How do the ads work here?
Here we go. I'm going to have to do them because you have to be in the Rumble studio to do it. Here we go. I'll read it. We hear a lot about crypto, but here's the part most people miss. Crypto was created so you could actually own and control your own money. After the 2008 financial crisis, Bitcoin was designed as an alternative to banks. So instead of a bank holding your money, delaying transfers, or limiting access, you're in control. And if you've ever had to wait for a transfer to clear, you've felt that problem. Now, fast forward to today. Everyone's heard of crypto, but getting started still feels complicated. That's why we use Rumble Wallet. It takes all that complexity and makes it simple. Choose what you want: Bitcoin, dollar-backed stablecoins, or even digital gold backed by real gold. No complicated setup. It connects with MoonPay, so you can use your credit card, debit card, or bank and be up and running in minutes. Once you're set up, you can even support your favorite Rumble creators like Manila and myself directly. So do this now. Scan the QR code over my mug, or click the link in the description and download Rumble Wallet. From there, you can set up your wallet, tap buy, and you're in the game. In just a few minutes, you can go from hearing about crypto to actually owning some. And there we go. All right, so now let's see if I can JAWS, a full JAWS, and let's see, get rid of this banner. Okay, then we're going to full JAWS it. Here we go. Oh. Look at that. Look at that. I was able to make that happen. Okay, here we go. When New York and New Jersey landed the 2026 FIFA World Cup, economists promised packed hotels, crowded restaurants, and billions in economic activity. And, well, we're not so sure we're going to have packed hotels because a lot of people aren't coming because the tickets are too expensive. And also because it's very hard to travel to the United States now because of Trump and his, sort of shitty attitude towards visitors. So there's a lot of concern in the New York area that the big bucks aren't going to be pouring in. Not to mention we have major infrastructure problems. We never should have agreed to host this thing. But anyway, they neglected to mention another industry preparing for a big surge in demand. According to the New York Post, escorts in the New York area say bookings are climbing ahead of the tournament, which is expected to bring in 1.2 million visitors, not all for horse, to the region over several weeks. Some high-end
ladies of the night.
Pardon?
Ladies of the night, Ted.
Yes, that's indeed.
Show them some respect.
I'm sure you can get some daytime action too. But anyway, so some high-end providers report a flood of inquiries from international travelers, and others say they've been receiving reservations months in advance. Always plan ahead. One Brooklyn-based escort told the Post she charges as much as $10,000 for a full day. Man, I'm in the wrong business. And has seen requests spike dramatically as World Cup travel plans solidify. Another New Jersey provider reported receiving multiple deposits from overseas clients looking to secure time during the World Cup. In other words, while soccer fans are hunting for tickets, visitors are shopping for, nookie. The phenomenon isn't particularly surprising. Major international sporting events have long attracted booming demand across hospitality, entertainment, nightlife, and adult services. Whenever hundreds of thousands of people descend on a city with disposable income and vacation mindsets, entire shadow economies flourish alongside the official festivities. But the law enforcement agencies are not laughing. Federal and local law authorities have spent months warning that large-scale events can also create opportunities for human trafficking and organized criminal activity. Agencies across multiple host cities have increased their enforcement efforts and public awareness campaigns ahead of the tournament. Like, what is like public service announcement? Like, don't fuck whores. New Jersey alone plans to deploy more than 1,000 state troopers during the event, while federal investigators have highlighted trafficking prevention as a major operational priority. Mega events often generate economic activity far beyond what appears in tourism brochures. So that's basically it. And yeah.
And Ted, not only do the prostitutes, I'm having a conversation in the Rumble Room now, like, is there a distinction between hookers, prostitutes, and escorts?
Yeah.
There is, you know, is this like an official terminology?
I mean, look, there's bleed over. I mean, obviously a streetwalker is not the same as a call girl.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so you know the difference there, right? So
yeah. So like an escort would be more along or more akin to call girl.
Yeah, an escort is arranged either on the internet
like
or by
high-end
phone.
prostitute, basically.
Yeah, it's a high-end prostitute, as opposed to a street. The streetwalkers are kind of like in major cities, almost extinct, right? They've been almost abolished. And
don't marginalize our streetwalkers, Ted. Look, just like in Davos, every year, right? They go to the Swiss Alps. Everyone goes to the Davos meeting. These are rich, rich men. And all the escorts flock there also. All the call girls flock there. And they make tens of thousands of dollars a night. Just tons of money. And I gotta point out, Ted, there's another black market economy happening there whenever the US hosts something big like this. I'm not going to tell you how I know for sure, but let's just say street pharmacists are in high demand.
Yes.
You guys know what I'm saying.
I'm sure that's true. Yeah.
So there's a lot of illicit businesses that thrive whenever big cities like New York,
political
Los
conventions are also bring a lot of sex consumers to town.
No, it's street pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, that too.
Just saying. A lot of those, and people make a lot of money and make a lot of long-term connections. We'll just say that.
When I was a taxi driver, one of the things that I was constantly asked for was like, do you know where I can buy drugs? Do you know where I can get a hooker?
Yes.
But you know who really knew, I don't know, this is the 80s, who really knew the answers to those questions were doormen at Midtown hotels.
I bet. All right. That's who you guys got to talk to. If you're in New York, talk to the doormen. They know everything. Just like in the TV news industry, the makeup artists know everything. It's the doormen in New York City.
Okay.
What's a doorman?
Oh, it's like in front of a fancy hotel. It's like a guy usually dressed in a uniform, sometimes a very silly uniform.
So is he the luggage guy, the guy that carries your bags in for you?
Yeah, he will, or he'll get you he'll hail a taxi for you or call a taxi.
Gotcha. So he's the greeter. He's the Walmart greeter.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks.
Yeah,
you got to remember, y'all done with an inbred redneck here, so I don't know these fancy terms.
Right. Understood. All right. And
that's the end of
that's the end. And so we have our heart out. We'll have a good meeting. Good to have you back. We will see you.
Happy to be back, everybody.
We're here Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We'll be back tomorrow, Tuesday, June 2nd at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Tune in then. Yes. If you're watching the Q&A version of Deep Program, we'll see you at 12 noon. That's 1 hour from now. See you later.